That was Percy Faith, and it was only put in because it came up in the pile. The label says "From Shall We Dance," which it was, but Ira and George Gershwin. But I think that record came out not because of "Shall We Dance," but because it was in the film Barclays of Broadway. Got into an argument with my friend John last summer at one of the car boots. He said that the Barclays of Broadway was called something else in America, and I said no, it wasn't. I said it was called Barclays of Broadway, and then later on I said I know because I got the record on MGM. They never did an album or an LP of Barclays of Broadway. They issued the 278s in a little folding pack, a sort of a soft cover, almost album type thing, but without real covers, just a paper thing, so that it quickly fell apart. And they only issued 4 sides from the film. But I later discovered that John was on the right track when he said about it being called a different song, a different title, because it was called something else in England, not in America. In America it was called Barclays of Broadway, and it was called the Barclays of Broadway when I saw it in Egypt in 1948 or 49. So, but I don't know what it was called in this country. Perhaps you remember, I don't know. Why they should change the title like that, I can't imagine. Most of the songs in that film were written by Harry Warren, like You'd Be Hard to Replace, and My One and Only Highland Fling, which was something of a hit, I suppose, and a couple of instrumentals which never made it onto record. Oh no, one of them did. There's one that when he danced in the gym on the ship, the gymnasium, and he's jumping around the wall bars and the vaulting horse and all that. It was called Sunday Jumps. It went something like bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum do 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 bum ba-dum bum. Funny little broken rhythm. And there was another song in it which was not included, which was never issued on a record, called The Swing Trot. And there was a rather nice song called oh crumbs, I can't think of the title. I know Stephen Sondheim used the same title for a song in a show called A Little Night Music. It went like this. A weekend in the country, that's it. A weekend in the country. Vitamin A you win. You'll pardon my effrontery. No, something, my original skin. Oscar Levant was one of the singers on that one. Oscar Levant, Nanette Fabre, and Fred Astaire sang that. Walking along the road. Anyway, before Percy Faith's They Can't Take That Away From Me, we had Moonlight Saving Time, sung by the original of the singer that Doris Day played the life story of in Love Me or Leave Me, Ruth Etting. That was Ruth Etting singing in the style of the times. For years I was looking for Mitch Miller's version of Sleigh Ride, and in looking for Mitch Miller's version of Sleigh Ride, I kept coming across Percy Faith's version of Sleigh Ride, which I knew wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted Mitch Miller's. It's the only version of Sleigh Ride that I know of that has a vocal on it. I'm not saying there aren't others, but it's the only one I know about. Anyway, after years and years and years and years of this fruitless search for Mitch Miller's Sleigh Ride, which probably doesn't exist, I one day played Percy Faith's Sleigh Ride, and it turned out to be the one I was looking for. So that just shows you, doesn't it? Anyway, here it is. Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson, played by Percy Faith and with a vocal. This is the best Sleigh Ride I've ever heard. Although the surface on that Sleigh Ride by Percy Faith looked rather playable, it was a bit fuzzy in my... I'm wondering if I don't need a new needle. I've had that one since 1963, so it's quite possible that I do. Still, it'll probably have to last a little bit longer because I can't get a replacement for it. Unless I send away to Expert Pickups of Ashted, sorry, if they're still in business. Anyway, the next one didn't sound too bad, did it? Sing, Sing, Sing. I don't know whether that would be the original version of that. That was later made famous by Benny Goodman. But that was Fletcher Henderson's orchestra. And the writer of the song was Louis Prima. It says with vocal refrain, that's HMV B8649. And I have an idea that that vocal was by Henry Allen. But I hope you will forgive me if I don't look it up, because I haven't got much time left and I've got one or two bits and pieces that I have to take care of before I go down to watch the film. If indeed I do go down to watch the film. Sing, 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 Fletcher Henderson. And this is one that I intended putting on last night, but somehow or other it got lost in the shuffle. So here it is. In our Corny Rhythm series, the irrepressible Mr. Waller comes up with a little ditty called What a Pretty Miss. Well, if you didn't recognise the male singer of those two, I wouldn't blame you, because I certainly couldn't recognise him if I didn't happen to know who it was. Somebody called Jack Smith. I wonder if it's anything to do with Whispering Jack Smith. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else, Jack Smith also recorded Senora on Capitol, but that was on Columbia. The female half of that, I think you probably would have recognised as being Dinah Shore. That was a kind of a semi-hit back in the early 50s, 1812, written by Hilliard and Allen, presumably Bob Hilliard and Robert Allen. There was a sort of a vogue for cute novelty numbers involving male-female duets. There was Doris Day and Donald O'Connor did a Frank Lesser song called No Two People have ever been so long. And I think it was Tony Martin and somebody else did one called Take a Letter, Miss Smith. Take a letter, Miss Smith, yes, boss. And there's another one, rather excruciatingly, called I Said My Pyjamas and Put on My Prayers, which has got to be one of the worst titles ever, but never mind. And no doubt others.